With more on this situation is Middle East expert and colonel in the reserves, Dr. Reuven Berko. Thanks for joining us. My first question is very straightforward. Has Israel responded appropriately to these protests?
No doubt about it. Everybody who watched the event could see how hard the Israeli soldiers tried to prevent themselves from shooting at the rioters, but at the time they got very close to the wires and the border and tried to penetrate into the Israeli side. There was no way to prevent this, even though in the pre-orders that the soldiers were given were obviously not to have people, not to prevent themselves killing them, to shoot them at the legs, to use smoke, to use other means.
Here's my question for you. Who are these protesters? Because Israel said that many of those killed were in fact Hamas militants,
no doubt,
anti-Israel activists,
and funded by Iran.
Right,
but despite all this, you have to understand that the deep understanding and meaning of the mission they took upon themselves. They wanted to penetrate into the Israeli settlement, to take hostages, and to overcome settlements in Israel. They call it the right of return, and under this headline, they actually wanted to penetrate and to kill people.
Well, something to keep in mind.
No state would agree to this.
Something to keep in mind, and you mentioned this yourself, is that there is a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip right now. There's funding coming from Iran, pushes coming from Hamas for typical normal Gazans to join these protests. 100,000 people were supposedly going to join.
Not 100,000 people. The most they have gathered is about 40,000 people.
50,000.
They meant to gather millions of people, but the Gazan didn't respond to this. They didn't want to share it.
What is Israel supposed to do in these types of situations when there's a mix of people who are violent and there are also protesters who are not violent?
This shows the professionality of the soldiers to choose the real targets and to prevent hurting the others. As to the question of chaos in Gaza Strip, economic chaos, etc., the whole responsibility is on the necks and shoulders of the Hamas leaders. They caused and they led to this situation by preventing people from help. They put all money, cement, and all means that Israeli day by day supply to the Gaza Strip, even today. They took it into this project of the missiles and the tunnels, and that's why we see these people not protesting actually against Israel. They claim that the protest is against Israel. They are desperate because Hamas actually led them to nowhere. This is the point.
Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time here. Obviously, one of the big questions here is what is the future going to look like for the Palestinians? We know that the PA also just recalled their envoys from all the European countries that actually attended the U.S. embassy ceremony. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
No connection to the ceremony of the embassy. Right. Not at all.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.